Hello everyone, this is Mayuk Mazumdar and I'm back with another exciting session. So let's proceed. In this session, we are going to talk about how Python can be used to interact with MySQL. Python can be used in database applications as well. And one of the most popular database is MySQL database. To be able to experiment with the code examples in this session, you should have the MySQL installed in your local system or in your machine. You can download a free MySQL database at https://www.mysql.com/downloads. Now we have to install the MySQL driver. Python needs a MySQL driver to access the MySQL database. In this session, we will use the driver MySQL Connector. I recommend that you use pip to install the MySQL Connector. Pip is the most likely already installed in your Python environment. Navigate your command line to the location of pip and then you can install it by simply using pip install MySQL Python -m pip install MySQL Connector -python. Now you have downloaded and installed a MySQL driver in your local. So we should begin testing our MySQL Connector. Let me see if I have anything uncommented. No. So before anything else, let me just run this. I'll be importing the package to my code snippet. If there is any error, it should have been given, but since there is no error, so I'm good to go. In the above code was executed with no errors, so MySQL Connector is now installed and ready to be used. The very first thing that we have to do is we will be defining our variables. So for that, from my config file, I am importing my DB username and the DB password, and using it I'll be creating my connection object. So first I'll be creating the connection to the database. For that I have to use the username and the password of my database. So let me comment my code snippet. Now I'll be printing the database connection that I have just created. Let me run this code snippet. Over here you'll get to see that a connector connection have been created and that is allocated to the value mydb. Now you can start querying the database using the SQL statements. The very first task will be to create a database. For that, what I am doing, before to bring it, I'll be creating a connection object, and that is the connection cursor. So for that I'll using the variable name myCursor. Now to create a database, I'll be executing the create database myDatabase syntax. So when I do so, say this print statement executed and this code snippet also executed without any error. So my database table have been created. You can also check if the database exists or not. Now you can do so by listing all the databases that you have in your MySQL. So if I do so, sorry, I need to uncomment this. So now let me run the code snippet again. I'll get to see the list of all the databases that are there. So since my database is already present, I have just created with this syntax, so that's why I won't be requiring to create anymore. There is also another alternative to do so. For that, let me first uncomment the code snippet. Well, you'll get to see that you can create a connection object with the name of the database as a parameter. So if you do so, if there is no error, then you will find out that your database already exists. but since we didn't have, so we have created using this command and by executing the create database syntax, and then once done I have checked that whether my database is now present or not. I also shown you the alternate path. Now all the following tables for all the following operations will be performing on the database, my database. So for that I need to modify my database connector, the one that I've created. So over here what I'll do, from now on I'll be using this format which will specify that which database to use in the connector. So right now I have my database created and my connector is good to go. So the first task that we'll be doing is creating a table. To create a table in MySQL, we use the create table statement. You must make sure that you define the name of the database when you create the connection, just as I told you. Now I can create a table by simply using this create statement. So let me run this code snippet. If I do so, the code executed without any error, so the table have been created. Now let me see if the table exists or not. So yeah, when I execute the show table statement and I iterate over the connection object, so I'll get to see the table names that are present in my database. So over here you got to see that customers table is present. It may happen that it not may happen, but it's good practice to define a table with a primary key. So for that, what you can do is while creating the table itself, you can specify that what should be the primary key. It's an ID, which is an auto increment primary key. But since I failed to do so while creating the statement, what I need to do is I need to use the alter table. So here we'll be using the statement int auto increment primary key, which will insert a unique number for each record starting at 1 and increase by 1 for each record. For that I'll be using the alter table keyword. Using this statement I'll be creating a primary key on an existing table, that is my customers table. If I do so, I'll run the statement. It ran without any error. That means the table have been altered. Now I'll be inserting records into my MySQL table. To fill a table in MySQL, we can use the insert into statements. To insert a record in the customer table, let me uncomment my code snippet. You want to see that my SQL statement is insert into customers, name and address, and the values are being passed using this val. So for that, right now, if I in the cursor.execute, this will execute the SQL query, and for the values, it will take the argument as this Moyuk and Kolkata. So when I do so, after executing, I'll be committing the modifications, and then I'll be printing. Let me run the code snippet, then you'll get a better picture. Okay, I have to uncomment this. Yeah, now I'm good to go. Now, see, you got to see that one record have been inserted. You must notice that I have used the mydb.commit method. Why it's done? It is required to keep the changes. Otherwise, whatever changes I am making will not be existing. So to commit the changes, I should use this mydb.commit, and in this manner I can insert a data into the table. Now it may occur that we need to insert multiple rows. To insert multiple rows to a table, we use the execute many method. The second parameter of the execute method is a list of tuples containing the data that you want to insert. So over here I have defined my SQL statement insert into customers where values are, and I have defined value as a list of tuple. Each one is a tuple containing the name and the location, and I have prepared this list of tuple as a value as a variable val. Now when I am using the execute many, so each row will be inserted one by one. Now let me print that how many rows are being inserted by this operation. you'll get to see that the 13 records have been successfully inserted. So using this, you can insert multiple rows into your data. Now you can also extract the inserted ID. So you can get the ID of the row you just inserted by asking the cursor object. If you insert more than one row, the ID of the last inserted row will be returned. This is something just to remember. But let me show you how to extract it. So I'm inserting a new record into the table, and let me print the last row ID. When I do so, you'll get to see that initially I've inserted one data into the table, then I've inserted 13 data, so total 14 was already inserted. Now this statement inserted the 15th row in my table. So over here you'll get to get the ID by using this get inserted ID. Means my cursor dot last row ID will return you the latest or the last row ID in the table. Now you can also perform select operations using Python on a database table. So for that, let me print all the rows from my customers table. So when I do so, what I'm doing, I'm executing the SQL statement select star from customer, and in my object I will be having all the using the myCursor.fetchL, I'll be extracting all the results that are there in my object, myCursor object, and I'll be iterating over each result and will be printing them. So when I do so, you'll get to see that all the data that I have inserted have been successfully printed by. So what I did, I just did SQL select star operation on my MySQL table. Now when this is executed, so you will get to see the result. However, you must notice that we have used the fetchL method, which fetches rows from the last executed statement over here. To select some of the columns in a table, we use the select statement followed by the column name. So over you will get to see that the name, address, and the ID is also being printed. But I don't want to see the ID. I just want to see the address and the name field. Name means only the name and address from the table. So for that I'll be using the select name comma address from customers. This SQL query I'll be executing. I do so, you'll get to see that the ID is now no longer being shown. So this is how you can play with MySQL using Python. Now you can use the fetch one method. If you're interested in only one row, you can use the fetch one method. The fetch one method will return the first row of the result. So I'll be selecting star from the customer, but I need to fetch only the first row. So if I do so, if I need to do so, I can do so by simply using this method dot fetch one method. Now I can select with the filter. When selecting record from a table, you can filter the selection by using the where statement. In this example, I'll be selecting records where the address is Kolkata. So let me run. My SQL query is select star from customers where address equal to Kolkata. And I'll be executing this SQL query, and in my result object, whatever is there, I'll be printing them one by one. So I saw that there are 4 entries in this table where the address is Kolkata and it has been printed. Also, I can use wildcard characters in SQL queries using Python while executing the SQL queries using Python. You can also select the record that starts or includes or ends with a given letter or phrase. For that, we have to use the percentage to represent the wildcard characters. You will get to see that over here I have used the percentage, and I am selecting all rows from the customers table where address has been patterned like in a percentage cat percentage. So when I do so, if I run, I'll just see that the address have Kolkata have this cat feature, means cat cat, not the cat one, the cat one. That's this in their address string. So that's why I am fetching all those rows which matches my this pattern. When query values are provided by the user, you should use the skip the value. This is to prevent SQL injections, which is a common web hacking technique to destroy or misuse your database. The MySQL Connector module has method to skip query values. So for that, over here, I'll be skipping query values by using the placeholder, that is %s method. So let me show you how I can prevent SQL injection. So in my SQL query, I am just using select star from customer where address equal to, and I am not passing the actual value of the what should have been passed. Instead, I am defining a variable as address as a tuple. Now whenever I am to execute and to prevent SQL injection, I am just using the execute method and I am passing this argument add here along with the SQL query. When it's being executed, I am printing the result one by one, and see, initially in my SQL query the pattern was given, but right now the address is now given as a separate variable. So using this we can attempt or we can prevent SQL query injection. Now you may also need at times to sort the result. Use the order by statement to sort the result in ascending or descending order. The order by keyword sorts the result ascending by default. To sort the result in descending order, you can use the DESC keyword. So let me first sort the result. So what I am doing, I am using the order by keyword and I'll be ordering it by name. I'll be selecting all from customers and I'll be ordering it by name. So you got to see that the data got ordered in ascending order. Now it's not necessary that you need to be ordering it by ascending order. You can also order it in descending order. So for that, you just have to select stuff from customer order by name and you have to use the keyword DESC to say that you must order by descending order. And I'll be executing. When I do so, you see that the data just got ordered or sorted by in descending manner. Now, at times you may feel that you need to delete a record from the database or table. So you can delete records from an existing table by using the delete from statement. So over here, I'll be deleting any record from my table where address is solved. So just like this case. So when I run it, I'll get to see that one row have been deleted as I printed. So using this, you can delete record. Notice that the statement mydb.commit have been used, and as I said, it is required to make the changes, otherwise no changes will reside to the table. Also, the where clause in the delete syntax I have also used. The where clause specifies which records that should be deleted. If you omit the where clause, all records will be deleted. Also, you can prevent SQL injection while doing such operations. So for that, what I'll be passing the address as an argument, separate argument. So I'm just using delete from customers where address equal to %, and I'm sending the value as a separate argument, and I'm executing that. Once executed, let me run and see what's the output. Yeah, one record have been deleted where the address was left down. So this is how you can delete entry from a secret table. Also, you can update the table. You can update existing records in a table by using the update statement. So for here, what am I doing? I'm updating, and I'll be setting address equal to Kolkata where address was Gujarat. So I'll be executing the SQL statement and say one row record which had the data address to be Gujarat is now replaced with Kolkata. Over here also I've used the mydb.commit. It is used to ensure that all the changes are in place and it does not get away. And also I've used the where clause to specify which records to be deleted, and in case if you delete this where statement, all the records will be deleted. It is considered a good practice to skip the values of any query also in the update statement. This is to prevent SQL injection, which is a common web hacking technique to destroy or misuse your database. The MySQL.connector module uses the placeholder %s to skip values in the delete statement. So over here I'll be deleting well, I'll be updating the address to be Gujarat, where it was initially set to Mumbai. So one row have been affected. Now limit the result. You can limit the number of records returned from the query by using the limit statement. Suppose we need to extract the first 5 rows from the result. So what I am doing, I'm selecting star from customers and I'll be setting the limit to 5. When I run this, only the first 5 rows will be inserted, will be displayed to me. You may get to see that the idea is not in the format 1 2 3 4 5 because we have executed some delete operations initially. So for that, and also alter the operation. So for that, some of the data means the ID are not in the sorted 1 2 3 4 5 format. Now you can also start from another position, as in if you want to return 5 records starting from the 3rd record, you can use the offset record. So what I'll be using this statement, and from the position 3 starting from 3, so that's why the offset is set to 2. So starting from 3, the next 5 records I'll be printing. So if I do so starting from the position 3, because the earlier 2 records may have been deleted, the next 5 records have been printed. 5 6 7 8 9 are the ID of those records. So these are the basic few operations. So now we are going to the last section of this session, where we'll be deleting a table. So for that, what you can do is you can delete a table by simply using the drop table statement. So using the drop table, I'll be passing the table name customers. So when I execute this, if it executes without any error, so I'll get to see that my table is no longer existing. You can also drop a table only if it exists. So how to do so? For that, you need to write your SQL query to be drop table if exist customer. If the table you want to delete is already deleted, or for any other reasons does not exist, you can use the if exist keyword to avoid getting an error. So when I run, as you already saw that my table is already deleted, but it executed without any error, as I have used the if exist parameter. Now to check, let me execute the select star statement. So when I do so, I'll get an error definitely, as the table is not existing. So these are the few features or few ways in which you can use Python to interact with your MySQL database. So in this session, I've tried to give you a brief introduction on how Python can be used to interact with MySQL and perform various operations on it. Thank you. Have a great day.